Right, I'm on. Let me just find the link to share and then we'll go from there. Let's see if I can find it. That would be it. Let me drop that in. Bang. There you go. Right, it should be on. You on it? Well, I'll leave it there. I'll see what you say in the first instance. No, it's okay. Yeah, it's hard to find because it's such a tiny channel. You've got to be looking for the video and not the name. All right, let's go. And so I'm there, and there you can see the old one. You can see me steer. All right. Right. Oh, yeah, I was halfway through driving, so you see it's night time. And if there's out wrong, tell me, otherwise I'll assume everything's okay. I'll turn that down a little bit actually. There's something like that. If one's too loud or whatever, let me know. It would be on a blind bend, wouldn't it? I'm keeping my bright lights on, these ones, because, well, it's just easier to see, isn't it? And by the way, carrying a truckload of fuel somewhere. I'm in Germany at the minute. I'm trying to get, again, further down south east. So Italy, down that way, is the way that I'm wanting to go overall. Oh, brake. Jeez, I had to stand on... Oh, it went yellow just as I went through it. That was lucky, wasn't it?
Stay right.
Oh, not another one. My last road was closed, and now that's another one. Unbelievable. I can't believe that. That's 2 roads that have been closed. Let me quickly have a look on maps. So it looks like there is a way around. I've just got to go through the city of Dortmund. Okay, so it's not too far. Sometimes the detours are massive, but in this case, not too bad. Whoa, almost hit that sign at the end. Wasn't expecting it.
Stay left, then turn left.
Apparently not been here yet.
Turn left.
I've got to look because I'm going through a red light.
Turn left.
Oh, hi, I can see you in the chat, by the way. I just realised. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. It's just the way it is. I just realized, let me see. Actually, I don't know how to do it quickly, so I'll leave it. There is a way I can get the chat overlaid onto the actual video, but all right, I can see you typing you hate night driving. I don't mind it in this game, but I do prefer daytime. I like the effects of the nighttime, the lights and so on, but I prefer it at day for sure. It's definitely easier to see at day, innit? But with the high beams on. Who's this now? I think Kathy's just messaged. I was asking Kathy how she was and how everything is before. Oh, she sent quite a long message. I'll have to read that after because I will crash. How many times have I crashed sending a message or reading one? More times than I care to mention. In this game, like, unbelievable how, in that regard, realistic. I'm gonna say, hopefully there's not another road that's shut. What's he doing? This song's alright, actually. Whoa, he was over the line, wasn't he? As far as they go for these are, by the way, not the ones that I pay for. This is a list of free songs. Because the songs that I pay for I can only assign to one YouTube channel, so obviously it's my main one. But as far as they go, I thought this one was alright. I mean, the playlist's not too bad. So I'm following the map down on the lower right, but I bought that phone thing there on the screen, so if I'm turning left I can see where I'm going as well. That was the only reason I bought that phone over there. When I say buy, I'm talking about play money right in the game. Slowly getting back up to speed. I've got my foot all the way down. Gear 12 of 12. We're going now, and we've got a little bit of downhill to help us get going, which is nice. Because I'd never be able to get up to this speed on the level. Well, I would eventually after all day. But that got me going quite quick. As soon as it goes uphill again, look, the speed drops off. Got to be careful because sometimes these arseholes pull out without warning. Oh look, it's my destination. Oh, I'm going through. Yellow means go. Got to stand on the brakes a bit there so we don't tip over. Cologne. This is called Köln in Germany. K-O with the dots L-N, which is like 4 letters. And for some reason we turned 4 letters into 8. I think I was supposed to be... Oh, it's on the right. Oh no, I was supposed... Oh, stop! Oh my goodness, was that close? Look how close in that mirror I was. That was like that far... Hang on, where's the camera? That far away. What's on my head? It's that track IR thing, you know, so I can look round. I need my hat on for the track IR. I think this is it, surely. Is this it? I'll turn that down now, it's a bit loud. It's always too loud once you start driving slow, just like in real life. I think this is... Oh yeah, this is where I need to be. So where do I need to park the lorry? I'm not... Oh, there it is. Hidden away in the corner. Now, this is difficult to do at night, especially down a dark thing. Let's turn the bright lights off. Reverses on. Yeah, now, I can see almost nothing in that mirror at the best of times, but especially at night. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to allow myself to cheat and come in the outside view. How are we doing? Well, it's not going too bad. I hate this view ordinarily, but at night where you can't see at all because there was no light in it, had to be, didn't it? And there we go, we're in. Alright, parking brake on. Turn the flashy lights off. Turn the engine off. And then they press to unload. There we go. I was late. Oh yeah, because I tabbed out to set the stream up. So overall, I was paid all that money, and then I lost 11,000 basically for being late, and I only made 2,000 for the entire thing, which probably cost me more than that in fuel. Wow. Anyway, now the trailer belongs to me. I just unloaded the fuel, so on to the next one. Yeah, my head is a track out on this thing is obviously the microphone, but it's because the thing is I'm sat on the other side of the desk because of, you know, where the steering wheel and the pedals are. And the camera's over there, so normally this microphone wouldn't be hung all the way over like it is, but it's the only way it'll reach. So there's those two reasons. Now, even though I've still got the trailer, it would go a lot... It'll accelerate a lot quicker because it's empty for now. In fact, I'm just going to look where the next job is, because I'm picking one that's taking me, again, southeast. Don't necessarily care for the best paying one. So I'm looking for jobs that start where I am. And so there's 4 available that involve something that my trailer can carry. And that's the perfect one, all the way to Austria. We've got one over to Birmingham, one to Mannheim, and one to Dortmund, which is almost nothing. Well, as it happens, the one that we want is also the best paying. Look at that, £51.74 per kilometre, which is pretty good.
Time to hit the road.
Time to hit the road. Alright, well, we got to go to wherever it is to pick it up. And that's shouldn't be difficult.
Turn right.
Yeah, so we set off like a rocket because there's nothing in back. Plus, it is the most powerful lorry in the game, so there is that as well. But it's set to really... The only 2 things I have that are not realistic is, one, lorries have like a restrictor in that stops them going above whatever it is, 60 mile an hour, or is it 65? I don't know, one or the other. Or is it 55? So I have that turned off, and the other thing I have said before is the speeding tickets. I have that turned off because if I had that on, I would not make any money on this game. I'd be in debt and have to quit. Won't be able to buy the fuel.
Turn left.
Turn left. It's currently 2:15 in the morning game time. It'll be daytime before too long though, because the times, you know, like the distances, they're sped up and compressed.
It's all over now.
It's all over now. He says that every time. Alright, so this was the one. Take the job. And so now we're going to go to wherever it is, probably at the back, to fill up. Whoops, wrong one. I meant to press that one. You have a dilemma. The screen... Dilemma on the screen down to the bottom, but you feel grim with the skull. Oh, I see. You've dimmed the screen down to the bottom, but you feel grim with this skull pair on top. Well, let me know if there's anything I can do. And once again, parking at night. I'm going to have to put... See, if I put my yellow flashy lights on... Hang on. It makes it ever so slightly easier to see, because there's just not very well lit at all when the flashes come round in any case. So I have to reverse into there, and it's a pretty tight spot. So I think I'm going to come over here like that, and then start going the other way and stop. And then reverse. And I think that'll work. I don't like... I see playing this as the outside camera is cheating, but when it's dark, I just can't see it. Not in the far side mirror. I maybe could on the near side mirror. But it's so dark. I mean, there's the lights from my reverse light, and that's about it, I think. And I think we're in. No, we're not, I don't think. No, missed it. Messed up right near the end, because it was looking alright for a bit. There. Straight in now. There. Parking brake on. Reverses off. Shut the engine. Load it up. You must rest your eyes. Well, doll, you rest your eyes. Cargo loaded. I'll tell you what's going on. Oh, it's raining now as well as it being night time.
Let's go.
I have got wipers. There we go. Yeah, very wet and slippy. All that's missing is some fog. I was having fog, thunderstorms, and rain last time I played, which made it hard to see, and I had no grip. And you know how I like to drive. And somehow I managed not to crash, which was... It was like 4 times I almost crashed. 4 times, but I never did. And I did crash slightly before I started streaming. It was always... I'll tell you what, no, it's not always, but often. It's when I'm fiddling with something, like I say, I'm reading a message or I'm changing something to do with the music or something like that, and in that moment, the way I drive, things change that quick. Like everything's fine, you lean down here to do something, you look back up and it's like too late. That little sneeze you heard was Puss. Yes, she's woken up. She'd come and sit on my lap if she could. She came standing on the end of the bed like she does, leaning over onto the armrest, trying to figure out how to get onto my lap, and realizing she couldn't because the steering wheel's there. This is a dark road. No lights other than my own. It's alright, you nod off if you're ready to nod off. Keep the thing going and nod off when you nod off, and it's fine. It's nice that it helps you. I still didn't get... I mean, I know I slept more, but overall it's still not been a lot. I don't know why. At first, when I woke up, I felt I'd had a full night's sleep, and it took me about 20 minutes to realise, hang on, I hadn't even been asleep for 2 hours. And then my watch said, I don't know what it said, 1 hour 40 something said. And then having been up about another hour, all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks, like real tired, and I don't know what causes that to happen. And that wasn't me yawning, that was the lorry driver, because he needs his break as well, and I hadn't had one, I realised, for a little while. Yeah, I'll put that little effect on. Hello. You are sleepy. Sleepy. Boom bada boom bada boom bada boom. Yes, feeling sleepy now. There we go. Back to normal. Well, the steering wheel, I was starting to aquaplane then. You can feel it on the steering wheel. It's weird how it suddenly, it's a weird feeling when it starts to do it. You get tons, but you have awful spine. Yeah. Well, you didn't mean to sound evil. I guess I was just making a silly sound. Let's see if I can make a less ridiculous. This sounds like a bit like a train platform, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, the 10:22 to King's Cross, calling at Leeds, I don't know, Sheffield, Doncaster and the rest of them. Yeah, maybe not. And attention. Please report to the mess room. Hey, do you remember when we used to watch that that Dark on Netflix? That's how they did that. Listen, I don't know what they called it, but every so often they would do these tunes and it would go like this. I don't know if you remember it from just that, but when I heard it in my ears, I thought, That's it. That's kind of what they did. And by the way, this weather has gotten from bad to worse. We've now got thunder and lightning. And I said all that was missing was the fog, and here it is. Wipers on full speed ahead. Yeah, my dude's getting tired. Oh, and there's I tell you what, when I pull over to sleep, it's going to be daytime when he wakes up. And I'll miss the fog and the thunderstorm, no doubt. I mean, I guess it could still be, but this fog looks really good. There was a bright flash of lightning. I don't know if you can ever get struck by lightning. I've never been struck. I imagine it's a loud bang if it does, but never happened. They maybe don't have that built in, I don't know. I tell you what, these flashes are bright when they happen. Mind you, they would be at night, wouldn't they? When if it's foggy and it's nighttime and it's lightning. So far, I've got us this far unscathed. Whoa. They are bright. Like, on the monitor, it's bright when that flashes. Yeah. You see, my own guy's starting to get tired. The black starts coming in from the side of the screen if you ignore it, and then it'll happen more and more, and eventually it goes off for like 3 or 4 seconds and then comes back, and you're to basically simulate that you are asleep. You can't suddenly think, oh, I can't see, I'll put the brakes on. It'll ignore you putting the brakes on because it's treating as though you have fallen asleep. Look at the speed, 158 kilometers an hour there. Let's just check. Where are we? F6. Yeah, we are. We've got 21 tons of petrol. I have been carrying up to 25 tons. Look at the speed. We must be off down a steep hill because it's 162 kilometers an hour. That's got to be over 100 mile an hour. Or if not, it's right there. I just saw a plane in the sky. Oh, I should have gone down that way. I didn't realise there was a separate thing. How far away are we? Oh, it's a long ways. And I need to look for a rest stop anyway. So wherever the next one is, that's where I'm going. Let's get rid of this now. Whoops. Where are we? F3. It's when I'm sat different to where I'm normally sat at the desk from the keyboard. It's like to touch type and everything, it's all wrong. Alright, here's the rest stop. Yeah, because I'm used to the keyboard being in front of me, not off to the side. It's actually starting to get a bit lighter. Fuel. Well, we missed it now anyway. We're just going for the stop for the sleep. Can we sleep at this side, or is this for cars only? Well, we can double back there for the lorries. Here, surely. Yeah, there we go. Parking brakes on. Engine off. Time to go to sleep. And there we are. 2:30 in the afternoon. Fog gone, the dark's gone, but the rain still on. Let's just drive with lorry sounds for a bit. I'll turn my lights off as well. Can be quite relaxing, the rain sound, but that is until the engine comes in. Let's look at the range. Right, so passing south through Mannheim. You see, we missed a turn earlier on, and I'm thinking, which one could it have possibly been? Because the route here continues on to the south, and I can't see there being any better one. Oh, the fog's come back. I'm gonna have to focus on the road. I'll put my lights back on. And it's still wet. I think this is the one time it's actually safer to drive at night when it's wet in the fog, because at night you can see all the lights from vehicles further away than you can in the day. In the day it just blends into a milky mess. It sounds like a train just went underneath us or something. I didn't see it. Yeah, that police car would give us a ticket for sure if I had that set on. 146. Kind of reckless in this weather, but now if there's something in front of me, I've got like 2 seconds warning. I'll not put my foot down anymore. I think that'll do. There's a sharp left turn. Oh, somewhat of a left turn anyway. I can't tell how sharp it is. Signs for 100. We're doing 110. That's fine. Foot down. Oh, we're starting to skid a little bit. Oh, that was nearly. We were skidding, and then when it got grip, I could tell it was tipping. Anyway, the situation has been dealt with. And the fog's starting to clear up. I think hopefully the rain's going to go with it. At least it's not as thick as it was. Yeah, it's definitely clearing up. By this guy, I thought I'd long since overtook him. He's right next to me. Skidding a bit there. Oh, we're aquaplaning again. Yeah, when it aquaplanes, look, the wheel sort of does this thing, look, by itself. I guess so long as we don't have to steer, we'll be alright. 148 kilometers an hour. You have to be going really fast for it to happen, though. Like this, 150. Gripping the wheel with both hands because it's unpredictable. Glad he pulled out the way. Gives me a bit of a racing line. And there we are, 158 kilometers an hour. You can hear the turbo knocking off by itself. We're maxed out. Park house. I remember that. Everything in Germany, like construction wise, seemed big. And it just big. Big signs, big wide buildings. Just big. But I guess now, like with everywhere, they're probably building new houses or flats or whatever they call them over there. I mean, houses obviously, but apartments, flats, whatever. And I reckon that they'll have they'll be making them smaller as well now. They don't want people to have room anymore. It's got to be everything cramped in. As you can see, an old property gets bought up from wherever. They knock it down. or they divide it up and turn it into 3-4 flats, what was previously one house. Granted, it may have been quite a big house, but you know, a big house makes 2 small houses, not 3 or 4 tiny flats. Well, that's what they do in it. And then people don't have room anymore. Well, the fog has gone. Maybe a tiny bit of mist on the horizon, but it's still wet. It's currently 20 past 4 in the afternoon, and we are, road sign coming up, on the way to Salzburg and München. So this may have been the motorway that I've been on many times between Frankfurt and München, I don't know. And going faster than this. Up I would drive at 160, 170, and if it was clear, 180, which was as fast as his car I think would go, which is, I don't know, about 100 and what's that, 15 or 20 mile an hour with us all sat in it. That's going back a couple of days now. Lost his ability to drive, didn't he? But you see there, that's how things are different. Like, you've got more of a personal relationship with your doctor, your dentist, your optic. Like, I don't know how that is, or whether it's still like that, but it certainly was. And so when it was like a borderline case as to can you still drive, can't you, because of your eyes, because the guy knew you and you knew him, you know, flip a coin, heads or tails, well, you know, he'd give you it. Whereas, you know, I guess if you're right on that borderline between yes and no, somebody else is going to say, oh, well, you know, more than my job's worth or whatever, you're losing your ticket. Now, clearly, once your eyes are worse, you've got to go. But when you're right on that borderline where it's, you know, any worse you can't, any better you can. I mean, I don't know. Depends on the person then, doesn't it? I do prefer driving on the European roads in this game, irregardless of which side the steering wheel's on. I prefer the steering wheel, for whatever reason, on the left side in this game. I've driven with it on the right. You can go into the UK and buy lorry there, and the steering wheel will be on the other side. And of course they drive on the left over there, which this game, you know, it simulates all of that, but just got one eye on the fuel gauge now. We're running low on fuel, so I'm gonna have to drive fuel efficient. And look at that, the rain has finally come to an end, and there looks like it's a fuel station, which is nice. So let's turn those wipers off. Standing on that brake pedal. Alright, parking brake on. Stop the engine, check how much this costs to fill up. £1.84 per litre of diesel. So for 727 litres, it's cost me 1,335 quid. I wonder when it first started costing over £1,000 to fill a lorry up. Turn that down a bit. He was getting nervous because I was riding right on his line. I guess I would have been too. I was flying
Stay back.
the P-47 yesterday, and that's got a turbo in it. And you can hear it whistling. And the P-47, when you get higher up, this turbo gets used more and more because it's trying to basically squash the thin air to make more use of it in the engine. Quite clever how it works, but it tries to gather up, you know, because the air's so thin, more air, squash it together, and then the engine's got more air to basically burn its fuel with. And that makes a whistling sound, and so the higher you go, the more you turn the turbo up. And the more you turn it up, the more you hear that whistling.
Stay back.
Just like that. And when you change the turbo, you literally hear the whistling going like that, which is not something I normally hear in a propeller plane, but in that particular one you do. You don't hear it lower down.
Stay back.
It's a clever piece of technology, that. Spitfire had a supercharger. Yeah, we're on this one. Which was advanced for its time. Got the... When the pilots were trying to run away from the Germans in whichever particular place that they were at, the Spitfire supercharger, it wasn't like this P-47 where you could control it on like a sliding scale up and down, like a throttle lever almost. It was an on and off system, and it happened automatically at a certain height. And so when these Spitfire pilots were trying to get away, they'd be climbing, basically willing with every fibre of their being for this system to kick in as they were trying to climb up, because they knew as soon as it did, that supercharger was basically going to add, I don't know how many 100 horsepower onto the engine, and then at that point the German that was chasing them would be unable to continue to chase them as they climbed away. The German fighters almost universally were better lower down, and the British and the American higher up, which kind of made sense because towards the second half of the war, the British and the Americans would be escorting the bombers, and that would be done higher up. Thing is, if you get tangled into a dogfight,
Stay right.
as you twist and turn, eventually you're going to end up down. That happens even today with jet fighters. They just don't have the energy to keep going at the same height. And so the battle would always start on the British or the Americans' favour. You know, if you're talking even numbers, it would always be in their favour because of the, you know, the ability for the engines to produce thrust. And then the lower it got, depends slightly for which aircraft, but you know, 10, 15,000 feet, whatever it was, once it dropped through that, the German plane was, which is kind of weird, isn't it? That the same plane, depending on at what height it is, has more power. But it was all down to the witch gizmos. The Germans had that MW50 stuff. I'm trying to think. I think I'm this way. That was not obvious. So many. That's like Spaghetti Junction for Paris, is that? Or wherever we are. Linz. Doesn't sound like a German name. I'm wondering. Oh, we're already there. We're already in Austria. By I drove fast. I've never covered that much distance before that quick.
Stay right, and then turn right.
Yeah, it's weird, all the little tidbits you pick up along the way. I find that sort of stuff fascinating, I really do. I'd have loved to have been around at the time. I do wonder if in a previous life if I was a pilot or something, because I'm so obsessed with it. And I was just naturally good at it right from the off, even as a kid.
Get ready to turn right.
At some point I want to talk about that that documentary that was made and that news report on that kid who was the World War II, what was he? He was a carrier pilot for the Americans, and he was the only one that was shot down on this particular mission. And then as a kid, right from like age 2 and 3, he's talking about his mum about planes, and he wants to go and see this certain plane and this certain boat, and he's looking it up on, well, it was sort of before the internet took off really, but you know, you could still look stuff up in libraries and whatnot. And then he ended up going to that reunion because he was obsessed with it. So this carrier, the crew would have this reunion, and this little kid went meeting up all these old men. And he recognized, that was the thing, when he walked in, he recognized them. And that's what got, and he was describing details of this mission that, you know, by that time, what was he, 4 or 5, couldn't possibly have known. And he would always have the nightmares, and the nightmares were of him trapped in the plane as he was shot down. And that was the thing, he was shot down, his engine or whatever it was caught fire, and he couldn't bail out, he was trapped somehow, and he would dream that. All right, there we go. Stop the engine. All right. How are we doing for money? Because I would like to buy another trailer for a different 97,000. There's a double articulated fridge lorry, and it's 100 and some thousand. I'm thinking if I can buy that, I'll probably get paid even more, because it's a huge refrigerated double articulated in it. It's the most expensive wagon you can buy, and I'm guessing get paid accordingly. All right, job market. We want to continue heading down there because I just want to explore the map down that way. Oh, there's a lot more from this place. So what we got? We could go to the Czech Republic. Well, that's kind of in the right direction. What else we got? You see, I've never been down here. This is actually the top end of Turkey. Got Bulgaria, Romania. I have been down here before. So I want to see anything that takes me vaguely into that direction. And it seems that most of these do. Graz, Vienna. Let's go to, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to Graz just because the payment is a load more. And then we'll go on from there.
Time to get the job done.
Speaking of which, it must be here then. That's the one. I can't believe that this lorry's got 4 reverse gears and I'm in gear 2 and it's already... I'm just wondering, like, is gear 3 and 4 in reverse ever used in real life on this? Right, parking brake on, stop the engine and help unload. Been watching Sopranos lately. I'm continuing. Oh, that's some code on guys. Yeah. Okay, I'll answer later. All right.
Here we go.
Parking brake off, and it's getting dark again. Avoid that lorry. You've taken... you're overheating. You're taking the snood off. Okay.
Turn left.
Jumped me from gear 6 to gear 9 then. I put the automatics on just as I was redlining it.
Turn left.
It sometimes jumps you 2 gears if you're slow, and it's... as in you're going slow and it's like gear 2 to gear 4. You don't need the in-between ones always. But I've never seen it jump me 3 unless I'm empty. I've seen it jump me 4 gears when I'm empty.
Turn left.
Like here, look, it's giving me gear 3 to set off with. Look at that, I can see in the reflection I got the green light. That was cool. So gear 3 to 5 to 7. Bearing in mind I have got stuff in. 7 to 9. I think that was maybe a little optimistic. We've got a bit of a climb. It is accelerating. So I'm almost sure it'll go to gear 10 next, because it's just... we're going uphill. Yeah, there it goes. I've got my foot all the way down. It does depend a bit on how far down your foot is as well. So the further down your foot is, the more likely it is to give you a lower gear, which makes sense, better for acceleration, right? If I put my foot down a little bit,
Stay left.
look, it's giving me quite a high gear. Now if I put my foot all the way down, look, it drops down. And I think if you kick it, oh well, we're too high up on the revs now, but if you, like, there's gear 10, so if I kick it, it drops down as a gear as well. But I prefer just to turn the automatic off, especially for acceleration, because I like to use right up until that red line. So I'm going to do it now.
Stay left.
Put the lights on as well. And it does like take like a second to change the gears as well, or whatever it is, so you don't want to be wasting time changing gears for no point.
Stay right. And then turn left.
I mean, these,
Turn right.
you know, like those buses when we went on, and I think buses have been like this for years. Like, when they change gear, they're so smooth, you don't even notice. You can, if you're listening out for it, and or you're sat near the engine, you can hear that it's changing, but you don't at all feel it lurching or anything.
Stay right, then exit right. Turn right.
Oh, why did he suddenly fucking stop? You arsehole. Oh, and he would be going the way I'm going and all, wouldn't he?
Ready to turn left.
I got something, I forgot what it said, 6 or 7 or 8% or something damage. I can't remember if it was 6 or 8 now. It was something like that. I don't understand why he suddenly slammed up. It was as if he saw me coming in the mirror and thought, right, slam on the brakes, teach that arsehole a lesson. That's what he was thinking. Pulling an insurance job on me. You arsehole, he's doing it again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fucking arsehole. Unbelievable. Everything's shaking now. Including my temper. On my... Something rolled and did I break something off his lorry? Look at him, he's completely jackknifed over the centre. Serves him right. Serves him right. That's twice that same arsehole cut me off. Well, he deserved it. And I know, and the thing is, I've got a bit of damage on my lorry now, and at some point down the road, I'm going to have to pay for that. When I go in for service. That scrape, in terms of game money, is going to cost me about 10 grand. And for the entire delivery, what was it, about 20? Assuming I'm not late and I didn't damage the goods. I remember sometimes online when I used to play this a lot back when it was like 10 years old, this game now, which I find incredible, although they have updated it so much in that time. But you'd be doing these long deliveries like from one end of Europe to the other that in game time would take you like a week to do or whatever it was. And it would be online, so there wouldn't be any AIs like this. Everybody would be in a lorry and they were all real players. Got a toll or a passport control or something here. Don't say I have to go through there because it looked awfully narrow. And then you'd get some arsehole cut you off after you're halfway through and you couldn't, like, load an autosave or whatever it was. Man, that was annoying. Are you going to let me through? Was I not close enough? Is that the problem? Please don't say I'm in the wrong lane. Come on, let the camera move away so I can see what it says. I can't move away anymore. I'm trying to get... Where do you want me to be? We drive right up to it. The thing is, I think there's somebody behind me. It wasn't obvious where I had to go. Well, there is somebody behind me now. Well, he ain't opening. Please move out the way. Unbelievable. This is where is like a full-on NPC, because that is what they are. And they're just thinking, no, I want to go through there. I want to go through there. And so I'm going to wait here so I can get through there. And they're not thinking, oh, he's got his reversers on, he's trying to get out. Come on. I'm going to have to touch him real gentle as I can and then push. That's the plan. I'm just going to gently roll into him. Oh my goodness, is he actually backing up as I'm coming right up against him? But he's certainly moving. The question is, nah, I think I'd feel it if I was... Oh, well, I felt it then. I think he... Hang on, which way do I need to go? I'll know which way by looking here. I need to steer the wheel to the right, but I think I'm too close anyway. I'm just going to have to... Oh, I'm wedged in with this concrete. Come on, dude. We'll get there eventually, even if I have to push them. Ah, there's the lorries. Okay. Okay, I'll remember that for next time. And in the midst of all that, it suddenly went night time. Hey, look at this dude. He's got a massive sign on his back. I've not seen that before. What's it say? For ye. Ah, it's part of the design of the company, I guess. It looked like it was a massive, I don't know, some sort of warning sign. I need to, here we go. Actually, I'm done with that. That was the flight plan I did this morning. It was Moscow to Stansted, but stopping off at Poland. Yet another toll gate. It's like... I tell you what though, if it weren't for these AI lorries that drove so slow, I could go through there faster. Now, not 160, but I reckon with a bit of practice, maybe 100. I don't know, just depends how much weaving there is, because I don't want to tip over. Well, we're through a big tunnel. I wonder if this was that really long tunnel that they opened that was, you know, I mean, obviously the game ain't going to make it that long. It's not going to make you drive through a thing half an hour, but there was that massive tunnel, wasn't there, that they opened somewhere down in, was it Switzerland or was it Sweden? I can't remember. It was one or the other. Or Austria. I don't know. That all these countries start to blend together in terms of news stories from way back when. But they built that massive tunnel, the longest in the world, I think, or at least at the time. Might still be. I love this lighting effect that in the lorry. It does remind me of driving at night on the motorway. That boom, boom. Yeah, if I was to drive normally, the engine would sound more like this. Much more peaceful. I mean, it's so much quieter driving like that, but man, it'll take you all day to get there. Plus, the whole idea of, at least I think so, and having a simulator is pushing things to the edge. If you wanted to drive real slow and stick to the speed limit, you might as well go work through, is it? Oh, what's that big one round here called? Forget its name now. Oh, why can't I think of its name? Is it Summit Stobbart? Oh, I can't remember its name now. Oh well, here we are. Yeah, you can see the scenery is different. You've got all these rocks at the side of the road. The lamps are different somehow. I can't put my finger on it, but somehow they're different. I think it's the curvedness at the top rather than the right angles. I like how the game puts all that in.
Get ready to turn left. Turn left.
Turn the high beams off. I didn't want him crashing into me right at the last minute. I thought it best to let him go.
It was a nice ride.
It was a nice ride. It was, wasn't it? I wish that message didn't keep popping up because I don't need it. We need to try and straighten out. There's not much wiggle room on this one, but I reckon if I straighten out and use the mirrors to get right up to the fence there, that is going to work, I think. Make sure I don't hit those expensive looking cars that are there. Right, that's the first part of a 28-point turn I can sense coming up. And I'm going to run out of air if I'm not careful. I can just about see the far mirror because it's night time. I just wish this thing wouldn't keep popping up. There we go. Oh, that's close. Oh shit, I had me jump. Fucking steering wheel jerked across the... must have tapped something. I'm thinking, did I hit the concrete at the back? Or was it him? You'll have to say goodnight. Alright, Dolly, well this will be the end then for me. Because I've got my... you know, I've got my stop here. And I've been driving for a while anyway. I always start getting silly on this if I drive too long, and I guess that's why in real life people need to have a break. But the thing for me is I just start crashing and writing more and more stuff off until I get angry and then rage quit anyway. So I might as well quit while I'm ahead. There's the end of the mission. We've got an excellent rating this time. There we go. All right then, Helen, night, love you, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.